All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the air here on Flux TV. I am your host tonight, Carlin Hicks, as we are here for round 4 of the 2021 Season 2 Flux American Sports Car Championship at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course, a 2.49-mile, 13-turn layout that utilizes a section of the famous front stretch at the Brickyard and the oval turns 1 and 2 at various points, as well as some of the motocross layout. It, of course, is a variation of the version that was used by Formula One in the first decade of the 2000s. As I said, I am your host tonight, Carlin Hicks, here to bring you round 4 of 8 in the 2021 Season 2 Flux American Sports Car Championships. And these guys, of course, are in the GTE class of cars for the American Sports Car Championship. Taking a look at qualifying, as always, with the Flux Championships, a 20-minute qualifying session for a 45-minute feature race. We're going to give you the rundown through the points, how they're looking so far, after I get myself straightened out of there. Cars rolling out en masse here for the very beginning. We got you on the red and blue egg melt Corvette of NZ Jack, who picked up his very first career win in the series last week at Long Beach. Had a terrific duel with McToasty on his way to the victory, and will be looking to make it 2 out of 2. Of course, NZ Jack from New Zealand, he has been knocking on the door in multiple series over here on the American Tour for the last couple seasons, and finally got it done last week, and we'll see what he's got for him here on the very tricky combination layout at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, this is the Flux American Tour's Brickyard weekend. We've got the Indy cars racing here tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern here on the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway Oval. Most famous race in the world, site of the most famous race in the world, the Indianapolis 500. All right, one of the main absences so far, he's still got about 15 minutes to get in here and pass through inspection, is Taijo, the winner, I believe, at Willow Springs. Let me check those results for you. Yeah, Taijo was the winner at Willow Springs 2 weeks ago, but he is, as of yet, not passed through inspection and entered the race. So if he is not here, that would be odd. He is your current points leader. He is your current points leader, but it is a very tight championship, as we are going to speak about here. But the man who is trailing him second in the championship at the moment by just 3 points with 78 markers is the man on your screen right there, last week's winner, Jack NZ, in the egg melt number 5 Porsche. It's been that type of season for Jack in the series. He ran 7th in the opening round at Daytona, followed that up with a solid 4th place finish at Willow Springs, and combined with last week's win, has pushed himself all the way up into second, just 3 points back. So it affects the point leader if Taijo does not make it in here. 3rd place in the championship here through 3 of 8 rounds, looking to push himself forward, is Super Crusher in the Paris Spirit Corvette, running with his father, Revs Martin, as a teammate. Super Crusher currently sitting at just 9 points back from the leader, 72 points on the board. His results so far on the season I pull up the docs here, came home 4th place in the opener at Daytona. Followed that up with a bit of a rougher race at Willow Springs. He had to make a recovery drive to get it home to 6th. But came back last week with his best drive of the season, rounded out the podium, finishing 3rd at Long Beach. And that is enough to push him up into 3rd place in the championship. He has been getting better and better and more consistent. We've been talking about him every week. He has been improving his precision. As you see, 4th, 6th, got it up to 3rd, and don't know what he has here at this track. He's currently early in the qualifying, 2nd on the speed chart. But we'll have to wait and see, as he is definitely a contender. Got his first career win in the series last season at Laguna Seca, I believe. I'd have to double check that if I'm wrong. I'm sure one of our pit reporters or viewers will correct me, but I believe he did get his first career win at Laguna Seca near the end of last season, so he would love to rejoin right there. Currently 4th in the championship, another Corvette driver, the Caporal number 27 car. That is one of our fellow Flux TV broadcasters on the European Tour, Mick Toasty. American driver representing here on the home circuit. He has had himself a fine season. Got a win last season at Watkins Glen, but it's been this type of season for him here, as he was able to run 3rd at the Daytona International Speedway and get on the podium in the traditional season opener. Followed that up, however, by missing round 2 at Willow Springs, so he did not score. However, got back on the horse last week with another solid performance. He was 2nd place in last week's round at Long Beach. Had a real shot at getting NZ Jack last week, but did not have the tires. He ran that car hard to get back from some early damage, although he was clearly the fastest car on the track and did, I believe, take the fastest lap bonus. He did. He was the pole sitter and took the fastest lap bonus. Those 2 finishes of his have enough to push him up to 59 points. He is in 4th place in the standings, 22 back at the moment, but still with 5 races to go, including today, nowhere near being anywhere out of it. That brings us to another vet, the other egg melt car, the number 6 car of Dale the Whale, last season's series runner-up, I believe. Dale, the winner at Daytona to kick off the season. He followed that up with a damage-strewn 5th, a great recovery drive, however, at Willow Springs to bring it back up to 5th. And then last week did not make the race at Long Beach and took a 5-point penalty as well. Nonetheless, his race win in his 5th at Willow Springs. Sorry, folks, dealing with some microphone issues and background noise. As we were saying about Dale, still, nonetheless, the win at Daytona and the 5th place at Willow has him sitting 5th, just 25 points back in the standings. And as of right now, he is at the, by a significant margin, he is at the top of the charts in the qualifying, as we are nearing the halfway point of qualifying. Dale the Whale in his customary spot up front. Sixth place in the points, just piddling. He is a rookie to the series this year, made a fantastic debut with a runner-up finish as he was second place at Daytona in his very first race in the series. He followed that up with a much tougher round at Willow Springs, dealing with tons of damage. He only managed to finish 13th at Willow, but had a nice recovery last week at Long Beach. Managed to he took some damage to the car as he spins right there, coming through the back section. Pidlin managed to drive it back home 2-6. Taijo making it in time, so the points leader is here with his Ford, so looking forward to that. But yeah, just Pidlin currently sitting 6th in the point standings, 27 back. The runner-up finish at Daytona, good enough to, along with a consistent run last week, good enough to get him up there. All right, looking back to 7th is the lead factory Porsche driver for the 2nd season in a row. That is Deadly Hawk. He's currently sitting 7th in the points, 34 back from points leader Taijo. He's been developing that car, as we've talked about, as I'm sure we will during the race. He's been developing that Porsche as the lead Porsche factory driver in the Flux American Sports Car Championship since last season. Had a 9th place run at Daytona, but followed that up with his best finish, matching his best finish in the series from last season with a 3rd place finish, getting on the podium at Willow Springs. But last week, the bad luck, he had a banged up car that he was able to bring home in 7th last week. Nonetheless, the 3 finishes have him up to 8th in the points, 36 points back. I'm sorry, 7th in the points, 34 points back. And we'll have to look and see. Right now does not have a quick time up on the charts, but we'll have to see if he can make that Porsche work here at the Brickyard. Running 8th in the points, his first full season in the series, is Revs Martin in the other Parasphere car, Super Crusher's teammate and dad. Revs, as I said, currently sitting a 36 points back. He was 8th place at Daytona in the season opener after running in the top 5 early in the race. He followed that up with another 8th place identical finish at Willow Springs, and identically enough, a 3rd consecutive 8th place finish at Long Beach. So 3 straight 8th place finishes for Revs Martin, but he has in at least 2 of those races run up in the top 5 at some point in the race. I look to see if he can move up, but he has been consistent. 3 straight 8th place finishes. He's 8th in the points, but just 36 points back through 3 rounds of 8. So he is still very much in this, if not to win the championship, then at least to possibly finish on the season podium or up into the top 5. All right, Cat Guy, another vet, the factory Corvette. He's currently sitting 8th on the time chart. He is currently sitting 9th in the points. It has been a tough season for Cat, who was 3rd in this championship last season. He had a blown motor at the very beginning, did not even manage to take the green flag at Daytona. That was the start to his season. He followed it up with a terrific drive to manage a 2nd place finish behind Taijo at Willow Springs to get himself on the board. But then last week, multiple trips to the pit lane, I believe, he wound up finishing 9th last week. So currently sitting 9th in the points, 38 back. Not enough markers to be out of it just yet, but with the luck he's had so far this season, the way this season's played out, he's going to have to get on the wheel here through the middle rounds if he's going to want to be close enough to have a shot at the title. We'll round out our top 10 rundown with the 10th place driver, the other factory Corvette, the number 4 car of longtime veteran O'Brien, currently sitting 10th, 43 points back. He too has had his share of mechanical issues, DNF'd with a drivetrain issue at Daytona. But followed that up with a rough round. He only brought home a 9th place finish at Willow Springs. Got back on the points board in a much better way than last week at Long Beach. Managed to run 4th last week at Long Beach. That has got him up to 10th place in the standings, and at just 43 back, he too is not out of it. We've seen guys sustain damage. You got absences here and there. There's still plenty of racing left to go, but that rounds out your top 10 in points and where they are sitting. Taijo's factory Ford Performance #2 car the winner at Willow Springs. Much was made of that race. First win for the Ford in the Flux ASC. 2 seasons of competition. And we'll see if Taijo can get some of it back. He has, as we said, looking at his season, 5th place at Daytona, followed it up with the win at Willow Springs, and then last week, 5th place again at Long Beach. So consistency has him narrowly in the points lead in that Ford Performance #2 as he loses it right there. We're now down under 5 minutes in the qualifying session, which tells me the track has been rubbered in, and you might see some guys come out and steal some lap times. At the moment, Dale the Whale still well in front of McToasty by over half a second. I do want to check my archives here, just to check on our winners from last season so I got my numbers right. Just so I got my numbers right from last season. Well, according to that, I don't have Dale the Whale not winning last season, which is a surprise. I don't think he ran the series full time. And yeah, that reminds me, it's a good, glad I checked this out. This race was not run last season as it was postponed. That's right, Dale was not a full-time driver, did not pick up a win last season. This season, as I've said, he got so that was his first career win at Daytona. So 3 different winners in 3 rounds. Dale the Whale at Daytona, Taijo here at Willow Springs, and then NZ Jack getting his first win last week. Just going to get my docks situated here momentarily, folks. As we are getting down to the nitty-gritty here. In qualifying, McToasty still not quite able. Let's see if he moves up at all. No, not quite yet. As he's sitting second to Dale, who's just riding it out. He put up a 120, only driver in the 120s, and he's going to challenge these guys to break into the 82nd barrier. NZ Jack just came up with a quicker lap there of 121.520, but not enough to move him any higher up on the board. I wonder if he's going to make, no, it does not look like he may try to make one more run. Yeah, he's going to try to make one last hot run out of it. Some screen time to the guys not in the top 10 in points that we have not spoken about. There's the other Caparel car of Chris 94 M Sport, UK driver coming over to race on the American Tour. He's had some good runs and has had a fast car. I think that he needs some luck. Right now, sitting 5th in qualifying, we know he has pace, and I think getting used to the tracks, I've talked about it before in past broadcasts. I know I experienced it having raced on an American tour for many years. When I go to the European and Asian and Pacific tracks, I do not have as much familiarity with them, even if I know the cars. And it can take some time to get used to it. I'm sure some of the European drivers have that same issue getting used to it here. But right now, only a second off the lead pace, sitting sixth in the field of what's going to be 13 starters. So I think he's got himself in a decent position. You, of course, have to avoid the early trouble, but we know he's got some pace. It's your boy Squash, of course, a familiar driver to those of you who watch the IndyCar and the stock car broadcast from last season, running in the other factory Ford car. Squash, as of yet, I do not have him on my board. I believe he is a reserve driver this week, but he is a good one. Running, obviously, Ford putting together a deal. I wonder if Ty Joe perhaps helped him use some factory Ford knowledge to get him up to speed. Currently only 10th on the qualifying chart, but Squash has shown an ability to drive through the field on more than one occasion. We have seen it. I believe he's the current points leader in the IndyCar Championship, which will be racing here on the Oval tomorrow night. So we'll look to see what he can come up with moving forward. Green Gaiman, we're glad to have back. He's another Ford driver in the Ford Privateer car. Missed the early rounds of the season. He's in the 67. We will see if he can get that thing up to speed. Runner-up in the IndyCar Championship last season, 2021 Season 1. Qualifying has completed, and I believe we're going to have our board. There's just a few cars making last-minute runs. Chris might have a shot as the fastest so far on the track to move up. Does not. All right, folks. Let's give it to you, your starting lineup for the 2021 Season 2 Flux Motorsport American Sports Car Championship at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Starting on the pole, their winner at Daytona in a Corvette will be the American Dale the Whale with a blistering 120.920. Starting second will be McToasty in the Caporal Chevrolet, not far off the pace. Starting third will be NZ Jack, last week's winner at Long Beach, got his first career win. He will be looking to run back up, has a good qualifying run to finish third. Qualifying fourth will be Super Crusher in the Perispirit Corvette. Qualifying fifth inside of row 3 is Chris 94 M Sport. He will be in the other Caporal Corvette. And Ty Joe, the points leader, winner at Willow Springs, the first non-Corvette in the field. He'll be starting from the 6th spot in row 3. Starting 7th, runner-up at Daytona, just Piddlin in the McCool's Corvette. We'll be looking for him. He has shown some pace this season. It's your boy Squash. Will be starting 8th, accompanying him on the front row in the other factory Ford. Starting 9th will be O'Brien, not the qualifying session he was hoping for in the one factory Corvette, and he will be flanked by the other factory Corvette of OGR Cat Guy starting 10th. Starting in 11th will be Revs Martin. He will be on the inside of row 6, and in 12th, the Porsche of Deadly Hawk 556. And shotgun on the field, the Canadian Green Gaming will be starting 13th. Surprised to not see Muttley in the field with the Ford cars this week. But we will see as we get these last Tinker Time 2 minutes as they get the final preparations. 45-minute championship race. It will be a rolling start, as always in the American Tour. Round 4 of 8, we're getting to mid-season. No longer really talking about guys setting themselves up. They've got to put up now. You look down there in row 5, 9th and 10th, O'Brien and Cat Guy. Those are 2 championship contending drivers that seriously need, they know that they can come back in 5 races, but they'd have to be on the podium at least 3 or 4 of those races to do that. So they've got to start putting it up now. Dale the Whale, as always, with a blistering qualifying run. one career win in the series, but he has multiple poles. He has definitely shown a propensity. Getting around here is going to be tough. The track walk we'll get to a little later on in the race when they've spread out, but you've got to come out of the 13th or the 12th turn there, as you can see on your track map, to get onto the long front straightaway that's going in the reverse direction on the famous Brickyard front stretch, which of course the Indy cars will be racing at tomorrow night in round 4 of the IndyCar Championship. That is at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UK. 13 cars of the Flux American Sports Car Championship gridded up, prepared for the rolling start. Dale the Whale and Mick Toasty will be the ones leading you out. Very difficult section through here at full race speed, or as you're qualifying, or I'm sorry, as you're on the pace lap. Guys staying lined up in 7 rows, 13 cars, round 4 of the Flux Season 2 2021 American Sports Car Championship is green. Who can get the best shot down to turn 1? Dale the Whale coming on the outside. They're spreading 4 and 3 wide there. He is going to manage to make it through. And the Jack shoots up into second. And it looks like Mick Toasty it did him no favors to be starting in that second spot down there on the inside. Super Crusher fighting back, as is Chris Tyjo. Tyjo getting it into there with just Pidlin, as those two banging as they come down onto the drag strip right there through the central section of the track. So 2 long straightaways with a lot of technical turns here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. This is, for you European fans, a slightly different layout than that run in the Formula One days. NZ Jack shot up to second ahead of Mick Toasty. Super Crusher settling in. O'Brien jumping up from 9th all the way up to 6th. And we've got battles back there, but at the moment, Dale the Whale, and this is that kind of track, taking advantage of starting on the pole to put a bit of a gap. But tire management, as always in the Flux ASC, will be vital. O'Brien moving up from 9th to 6th. He's being trailed closely by Revs Martin. Tyjo's not far back there either. Just Pidlin, who had some trouble there through the middle section, falling back to 9th. Way they're going, I'm going to get our drone footage going here. Let's get some time here to Just Pidlin running in 9th as he's trailing up on Tyjo coming down the drag strip section. This is a very difficult portion of the track because despite what the land is not really that, and it looks like O'Brien may have lost it. O'Brien losing it coming out of the drag strip, and he's going to catch it. I don't believe he hit anything, but that's going to drop him all the way down near the bottom of the order. So after moving up from 9th all the way up to 6th in the early going, he's going to take a tough break there to fall back to 7th or to 12th place. Meanwhile, back on it here, Just Pidlin chasing Tyjo in 7th. Those guys lining up as they get trailed out. It's very difficult in the early laps here. You will see some of a gap formed here very early because of the difficulty of running in traffic. Not so much of an aerodynamic track as we saw at, say, Willow Springs or Daytona, but because of the difficulty of making passes. As you see Tyjo there looking at Revs Martin, but unable to quite get it done. Tyjo, as we said, the points leader. Got his first career win in the series 2 weeks ago at Willow Springs, the first win for a Ford in the Flux ASC. All right, let's get back up front where we've got a great ride along here. As I'll get into the cockpit here on Super Crusher running fourth. That's Mick Toasty directly in front of him, NZ Jack just in front of him. The battle for second place is on your screen. Glad to hear from the reigning Flux American Sports Car Champion, CDN Trooper, checking in with us, not running in the series this year, but letting us know as always that he is watching. You can see Super Crusher maybe getting a little farther back, letting the aerodynamics play out. He might be getting a little bit of dirty air there. Let's move up to McToasty and put it on the drone footage as he is trying to line up NZ Jack. Coming there through turn one, as you can see, this difficult first section. The grandstands here absolutely packed full, some 300,000 plus seats, and including the infield, you're talking in the range of 375 to 400,000 people on a full race day, Indianapolis 500 day at the famed Brickyard. Coming through the campers parking here, down at the end of the drag strip. And this is just turning into a battle here between second, third, and fourth. Dale's got clear track in front of him as he works lap 4 here 5 minutes into the race. Able to run a little bit quicker than these guys. That 120, 121 qualifying pace we're not seeing here early. They're in the 122s and 123s and 124s. You got to think a lot of the front runners are going to have a strategy of trying to make the tires go the distance. That's going to be very difficult to do when you're racing for position here, which might put 4th and 5th right there, Super Crusher and Chris M Sport, the advantage. They can kind of settle back, just manage the gap. I'd say keep it within 10 seconds if you can, and try to let the race come to them. These races run, I would fully support branding this series as the Trans Am Championship, because it runs just like the former SCCA Trans, or just like the active SCCA Trans Am Championships, with those big bodied cars running about 100-mile distance by the end of the 45 minutes. And tire management is as much of a of an issue as speed, and it makes the qualifying and the race sessions very different and very competitive. Super Crusher falling back from these guys a little bit, maybe into the clutches of M Sport. It looks like Taijo, he has gone way back. We've missed what's happened to the point leader, but he has spun it there coming on to the drag strip, and given the amount of time he's back already, that can't be the first one. It doesn't look like he has any damage, but that cannot be the first one, as he is at the back of the field, 26 seconds off the leader. You got to believe that something happened to him earlier, so just not looking good. He comes in here, as we said, as the point leader, and he's going to have to buckle down and make a recovery drive just for the championship points. O'Brien as well, back in 10th, was looking good. He's kind of stalled there the last few laps in the 10th spot, trying to move back up. Oh, and it looks like Dale, we got a problem with Dale the Whale. He's gone around there, coming through the technical sections at the end of turn 1. Did not catch it, but I can guarantee it with under braking coming into turn 1, and after Dale had built up about a 3-second lead, he falls all the way back to 6th place with that. So it can change in the blink of an eye here at Flux Motorsport, and that's going to put NZ Jack, last week's winner and the 3rd qualifier, into the lead. But he has got McToasty right on his tail as he kisses a little bit of grass there. But now it's going to be white knuckle time for Dale the Whale. He led the first 5 laps of the race, but we're going to turn over to a new leader here, likely going to be NZ Jack. Let's see if McToasty can use the draft down the long front stretch here to make a run on him. Lap time's definitely starting to fall off, as I believe the tire wear is maybe just starting to show. Maybe they're also being a little bit conservative, but I think mainly it's the traffic. I think the traffic would definitely be a big part of it as they head right there through the little kink in onto the drag strip, next long section of the course. "36 minutes remaining of the 45-minute race, working lap 7. I'd say we can expect about 3 laps every 4 minutes, which would give us about 32, 33 laps, I believe, for this race. Somewhere in that range. So definitely tire wear going to be a thing. It looks like McToasty. Let's get an on-board from McToasty and his Corvette as he's running in second right behind NC Jack and looking to make the move. These guys running practically identical lap times. You come off the final turn, which is a very important corner, sets you up for the long front stretch. As you can see, he gears it out there. He's going to max out his speed somewhere up around 165 miles an hour, hard on the brakes, downshifting into turn 1. It's a little kink back to the left. Can't put too much throttle on it. It is absolutely flat through here. As you're working through the little miniature carousel section, now it's back to kink to the left, getting you onto the drag strip. Use as much of that curve as you can get away with, and maybe try to get a little bit of draft. You'd like to think this is a passing zone, but with the severity of the upcoming left-hander, you can't exactly say that that's the case. As you can see right there, very difficult to get inside somebody, but NZ Jack fighting that corner a little bit, maybe has a little bit tighter of a car than McToasty. And McToasty's also, as he comes through the little chicane section there, he's also being a little easier on the brakes and the throttle. I think maybe he's not working the car as much. NZ Jack may want to start managing his brakes and tires. You can definitely get some brake fade at this place as well. You come through the final section there, the hard right-hander. This is a very difficult left-hander. He's going to take it in second. I've known guys to take it in first. Now back the right-hander to 13. You cannot go 2 wheels over that white line or you will be penalized by the stewards, and that is a lap at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. And I believe McToasty's got him. Sets him up to the inside. Nope, not quite. He is right on top of him. No, we do not want to miss the pass for the lead, but we do have battles around the track that we got to check out. Cat Guy and O'Brien, the 2 factory Corvettes, have shook free from the bottom car, from the cars behind them, but they're running in 8th and 9th. Both of them want to get moving up. You know that. Looks like Just Piddle and Revs Martin have fallen behind. Dale the Whale has gotten back up to 5th after his spin put him back in 6th. And there is Chris 94 M Sport, who has moved it up to 4th place now. He's just 3.7 seconds back. So the top 7 cars are still within 10 seconds of the leader. And I want to give them some airtime, but such a battle here for the lead. And that's what you hope for when you're in that 3rd through 7th group. You hope that these leaders use up their car. Quick penalty check on Super Crusher, a 1 second, probably a track limit penalty. That could come into play later on with how close this is. But we are still very early, working lap 9. And about 12 and a half minutes into the 45-minute Flux American Sports Car Championship round at Indianapolis. Round 4 of 8 in the championship. All 13 cars still on the track. We have not seen a single car come in to make damage repairs here in the early going, which is surprising and excellent and pleasantly surprising. But as you can see right here, this is a cramped course, radically different from what we're going to see next week when these cars head out to the 4-mile Road America circuit. Next week's American Tour will be taking the ASC and the Indy cars to Road America. So a very different racetrack there next week. Ooh, Jack going wide into the grass there. Setting lap time still in the 123. These guys are definitely, I think, probably qualifying with soft tires and then racing with the harder compound, or at least a combination. That could account for some of it. definitely going to see lap times falling off in race trim. Dale the Whale has gotten by Chris 94 M Sport while we were watching here, and he's back up to within 5 seconds. He's in the 122s again, so Dale is back on it after his spin took him out of the lead. The pole sitter now back up to 4th, so he is definitely on it. And it looks like we have some problem. O'Brien now running at the tail end of the lead lap. Looks like, yeah, he's having some problems. O'Brien all the way back to 13th, so another driver I really expected to see up in the top 5. Doesn't appear to have damage on the car, but he's definitely had some trouble getting the rubber on the road, maybe some traction issues here. And he is just about to go a lap down. Yeah, Dale's definitely got the fastest car at the moment, but like we've seen before in the past, and I've made this point many times, you know, this race, these 45-minute ASC races in these GTE cars, you have to do about 100 miles, and almost every winner doesn't pit, so you have to take care of those tires. McToasty last week at Long Beach was faster than NC Jack for the last part of the race, but he had to use those tires up to get back to him. So is Dale using those tires up, trying to get back to this front group? That is always a possibility, but we'll just have to wait and see. He, as of now, as we said, putting some separation on Chris M Sport back in 5th, and he is just about up with these guys. You can see him there in the background. Dale the Whale very close. But we've got 1, 2, and 3 right on top of each other. This is a great time. Oh, Super Crusher is around. Super Crusher's around in the carousel turn 3 and 4 section, and that is going to be heartbreaking for him. Dale gets by him. Dale the Whale gets by him, and Super Crusher falling back to 4th. So that ferocious battle up front, thinning out just a little. Still the top 6 cars are within 8 seconds. Rebs Martin maintaining pace with these guys as well back in 6th. Back up front, they are coming up on O'Brien relatively quickly here. Whose bad luck has continued. I got to believe he's having traction issues. I've raced with him for many years at this place and know he knows his way around here. He's got to be having traction issues with that number 4 Corvette car. All right, working lap 13. NZ Jack still in the lead. He has led since lap 5. Those have been your 2 leaders, Dale the Whale and NZ Jack, but it has been a dogfight between these 2 cars. McToasty still on top of NZ Jack, and Dale the Whale has driven all the way back up. He fell back to 6th, about 8 seconds back, I believe, and has driven that gap right back down here to get him up to 3rd place. Super Crusher, meanwhile, settling back in 4th. Ty Joe hitting the pits. Hopefully not for damage. Doesn't look like it. He's got a little bit of a pancaking on the left side, but Ty Joe maybe needs to repair. Maybe has a problem with the suspension, but the points leader not having the race he needed to have as he is in the pits for repairs. So it is definitely wide open in the championship. Jack and McToasty with Dale not far behind. They are battling among the front 3 and coming up on the lapped car of O'Brien, who they're not there yet. He will concede when they're there, but it's tough to find that spot. These guys, you know, they're obligated when they have a chance, not in a technical corner. O'Brien's trying to give them the inside. And it appears he has done it. Yeah, good job there by O'Brien, having another tough luck race. Dale's running that time almost a second faster than these guys. But as you said, he is heating up that rubber to get there. Super Crusher not far back himself, back and forth after his spin. He's only within 5 seconds, turning 123 once himself. So I think these guys are capable of being much faster when they're not on top of each other. But we are now 19 minutes into the race, working lap 14. Still 26 minutes to go. Not even quite at halfway yet. Crossed flags for halfway will come at the 22-minute 30-second mark there on your screen. So we're a few laps away, a couple laps away from that. And these guys are still right on top of each other. Dale the Whale is now there. This is as good a time as any to get out our drone cam. All Corvettes here. After we saw the 3 different makes on the podium at Willow, we thought maybe we would see a different flavor this season, but it hasn't happened. The vets have continued to be dominant, which I believe is more the drivers that are driving the vets than the cars themselves, but nonetheless, they have dominated in the 2 seasons of the Flux American Sports Car Championship. Now Dale finally probably playing it smart, probably cooling those tires off for what he can. He knows he's gotten back to them. He knows they're racing each other hard. This is a good time to just settle in. Probably run maybe the next 7 or 8 laps. Run about the next 10 or 12 minutes at pace. Take it if you can, but make sure you have something for the finish. You do not want to have to pit for tires. And certainly at this point, you should have already made sure you're not going to have to pit for fuel. But these 3 vets are right on top of each other. This is American road racing at its best. McToasty in that tough spot now. He's getting to a position where he has to start defending against Dale, which is going to make it harder to make a move on Jack, who is still your leader now as we are starting lap 16. Little rundown there. Get to our cross flags point. I'll give a brief look at the timings, run down where these guys are. Haven't been able to get down to them. Some good battles back in the field, but the battle up front has monopolized the airtime. These 3 are right on top of each other. That corner right there, NZ Jack has had a lot of trouble coming through the back section there, getting back onto the short chute, getting onto the south chute at Indianapolis. But this slow speed section here is very difficult to pass, so he's just setting himself up. Now is where you've got to be good coming out of turn 13 onto the front stretch. This is the best passing opportunity on the course. So you've got to be able to get back on it, and he is. He's just managing to hold back, and it looks like Dale has made the pass on NZ Jack. Or I'm sorry, on McToasty. So McToasty falls to 3rd, Dale the Whale up to 2nd, and he may be ready to reclaim the lead here before you know it. He is now right on the tail of NZ Jack, and he's going to take his shot at him while McToasty sits back there, probably thinking the same thing we were just talking about Dale. Let's get settled in, get the car underneath me. We're only at the halfway point as we take a quick look at our timings and where everybody runs. Jack 1st, Dale the Whale 2nd, McToasty in 3rd, Super Crusher 4th, and Chris 94 M Sport running in 5th. McToasty, as we said, a former winner in the series last season at Watkins Glen, would love to pick up that 2nd win here today. But he's trailing these 2 up front, NZ Jack, the New Zealander, and the Daytona winner, Dale the Whale, last season. Oh, and Dale the Whale gets into NZ Jack right there at the end of the backstretch. Jack catches the wall. I'm not sure how much of that. Couldn't see from that angle whether he came down on him or got up into him, but with that, NZ Jack has caught the wall, and he's got some front end damage on that car. There's no doubt about that. Definitely got some front end damage on that car as he falls back to third. He's now in the clutches of Super Crusher, who's likely going to get by him here shortly. And a matter of fact is, Super Crusher is going to pass him into third. Dale the Whale, meanwhile, has taken the lead. It's tough to see from our angle what happened there, whether Dale got up into him. It looks like maybe he had a nose in there. Whether or not how far up that nose was, I'm not sure, but it was enough to catch the right rear quarter panel of NZ Jack's vet, and when he tried to correct it, sent him right into the wall. That is a tough blow for last week's winner and a possible steward's inquiry. I don't know that that camera angle, as I said, can make much of it. You can tell exactly where they're at in relation to each other, but not a clean pass one way or another. And when it's not a clean pass, you definitely know that there's people going to be looking at it. But at the moment, Dale the Whale, the pole sitter, has recovered from that early spin in turn one. He fell back to sixth and driven all the way back up to the lead. He's got McToasty right on his tail. Super Crusher has now moved up into third amidst all the hubbub. And NZ Jack, with that front end banged up, that car cannot be feeling all that great. He just ran a 124.9, which is definitely off his pace. Let's see if maybe it's just him needing to get himself settled in. But he's now sitting in fourth place. And as we said, Jack, another guy who's in the points championship chase, sitting second in the points, just 3 points behind Taijo, who's having a terrible race. He's back in 13th, a lap down. So this was really an opportunity for him to move up. And that's going to be a controversial moment, as it looks like Chris 94 M Sport is moving in on him as well. Or I'm sorry, not Chris 94 M Sport, but they will be shortly if he doesn't put it together. Meanwhile, the battle for fifth place is now we've got some time to take a look around. Chris 94 M Sport has been running right there in that front five most of the race. He's currently in fifth, and he has Revs Martin right behind him. Now, Revs, we talked about, Super Crusher's teammate, and his dad made his debut last season in the final race at Texas. He's been running this season, sitting eighth in the points with 3 straight eighth place finishes, but he has run in the top 5, and we've said he just needs to bring it home and close it out. He's had good runs, but he's got to complete it for the complete distance of the race. And right now, as we get on Revs in the 82 car, he's running in sixth. He's obviously taken pretty decent care of his tires as he's now, as he's still running a competitive lap time, but he is going to be looking to get up into that top 5, and he's only 12 seconds off the lead and not far off of the podium either. So it's possible that he could be a guy to make a run here towards the end. He's got a cushion to just piddling behind him. Other battles going on, just piddling, as we said, sitting there in 7th, but a battle for position going on. Corvette versus Porsche, as Cat Guy in 8th and Deadly Hawk in 9th. Cat Guy definitely, much like O'Brien, the other factory vet, got to be disappointed. He needed a big race here this weekend if he was going to get back into the championship, and I think that I would not say at all that, you know, with the top heavy point system and the way that you can move up quickly if you put together a string of good races, he's by no means done. But I think Cat Guy himself is telling himself in that cockpit, 8th place ain't gonna cut it. But he has got Deadly Hawk grinding away in that Porsche on his tail, in the factory Porsche, as they are battling for that position. Looks like timing's another penalty. McToasty picking up a penalty. Taijo's got one as well, a lap down. These guys putting on a show, but meanwhile up front, Dale the Whale has gotten out front. He's running in the 122s. He's outpacing McToasty and has pulled out to a second lead here with 16.5 minutes to go, working lap 21. So Dale back to the lead, and it may just be that he's got too much for these guys. Has not banged the car up. He did not appear to take any damage from that incident with NZ Jack. And as of right now, could be looking to get his second win of the season. O'Brien back in the pits making some repairs. Another tough day for him. But meanwhile, let's get back to that close battle on the track for 8th place, Cat Guy and Deadly Hawk. About 33 seconds off the leader as they're coming down the backstretch in the drag strip. Give a shout out to Deadly Hawk. As I said, ran all season last year in that Porsche, has been developing the car. He got on the podium last season at was Laguna Seca or Texas, I don't quite recall, but he also got on the podium this season at Willow Springs, so he has 2 career podiums in that car. Hasn't been his race here, but this is a guy who has been developing that Porsche. I think most sports car people, most Porsche people will tell you that the Porsche is better in GT3 trim than it is in GTE trim. Not sure how Deadly Hawk feels about that, but he has made that car work. He has some very good finishes in that car, and we'll see if he can pull something together. They are not terribly far off the cars in front of him, as we do have action up front. Chris, we were just talking about Chris 94 M Sport, still within 10 seconds of the leader, 12 seconds of the leader, running in the top 5, and then he has obviously had a problem. No damage, it doesn't appear on there, but maybe perhaps a light spin has pushed him back to 7th, so tough break for him as we are inside the last 15 minutes here at Indianapolis. That's going to move Revs Martin up into 5th. So as we said, looking for his breakout performance, and maybe this is it. He is up to 5th place now, just grinding away, still turning laps in the 123s, not quite with the lead group, but enough to put him solidly up on the podium. And NZ Jack's lap times have definitely fallen off with that damage. He is back to 4th. He's running, he managed a 123.7 last time. I don't think it's that bad, but he's not able to keep up with the cars in front of them. You ought to start seeing, if they've managed their tires well, their lap times may drop here for a bit as the fuel burns off and they get a lighter car, but that is not happening to NZ Jack. So I think that he is making the best with what he's got, and he's going to try to hold on to 4th place points, which not going to make any speculations, but may make him be enough to make him the points leader when all is said and done here. But back up front, Dale the Whale drove it back to the lead, but he has not been able to shake McToasty. I think McToasty, running there in 2nd, qualified in 2nd. I think he was saving something for a while during that battle with Jack, because Dale started to pull out to lap times that were 3/4 of a second faster, and then McToasty has started to dial them back in. So let's see if he can keep up with them and maybe even make a run. Super Crusher, as you can see in the background there, he's not far back, just 5 seconds on the screen, a couple of corners. But working with a penalty that as of right now is not affecting anything. Super Crusher back there in 3rd. We've talked about him every weekend and about the steady improvement. He comes into this race 9 points off the lead, 3rd in the championship. So another podium finish for him would definitely just continue what's been a great team for the season for Team Perispheric. You've seen Revs Martin steadily developing, the new driver, and Super Crusher has done what you wanted. He had some good runs, took his lumps last season, has kept developing the car, and now this season has put himself in a position where he's starting to get finishes. He's got a win near the end of last season. He'd love to get back in the winner's circle this season, but he's kept grinding out points every week, and you do not need to win races to win championships, and he has just been steadily up there, and another podium would go a long way towards getting him some swag at the end of the season. Checking in on these two, yeah, they're still going at it. Checking on where Green Gaming is and relative to the leaders, they are going to be coming up on him shortly. Glad to see him back in the series. Currently just ahead, just still on the tail end of the lead lap, running in 11th. Hoping to make his way up towards a top 10 finish, as Deadly Hawk has dropped back from Cat Guy by about 10 seconds, so he must have had something go wrong there. He's just going to be fighting to hang on to a top 10 finish now. It's your boy Squash, meanwhile, in the at-large entry in the other Ford car back in 9th. He's going to be looking to try to make a run, but Cat Guy able to get it back up into 8th, so at least he's been grinding out potential to move up. But the field's spreading out a little bit at this point, and that leaves us with Dale the Whale out front. He's now got about a second and a half as he put that car down in the 121s that last time. He is just starting to slowly pull away from McToasty, who's got to be giving it all he's got right about now. 10.5 minutes to go. We said you'd see about 3 laps every 4 minutes, so that would be 3, 6. I'd say about 8 laps to go in this race. Dale the Whale, as we said, did not run full-time in this series last season, got a win in the opening round at Daytona, came home 5th at Willow Springs, and did not race last week at Long Beach. So this could put him obviously right back in the championship. Dale came in 5th in the points, 25 points back. So this could definitely put him, as I said, right back in the championship. He's coming up on Green Gaiman, who's obeying the blue flag as best he can, getting out of the way. As Dale and McToasty are on their way, they are the fastest cars on the track now out front. McToasty gaining a little as they came through the traffic. Let's get back on board that Corvette cockpit with McToasty. He's 4th in the championship himself, so he's trying to get back into the championship and get back towards the top of the table and try to see here where he's gaining, where he's losing. He is gaining up. Let's see what this lap delta looks like between these two. 123.3, 122.1, so at 1.2 seconds that time for McToasty, but you got to believe some of that was the traffic, which can always play a factor. But we have seen nothing in this series but fantastic finishes and great racing. All the Flux series tend to be that way. The competition's so close. They have no lapped cars for a good while. I can't say that they will not catch the next lap car, which would be Deadly Hawk, but it's a ways away for them. So it should be a clean run here. And they look to me like they're just matching each other at this point. Both in vets, both have some level of factory support as Dale goes wide into the grass, and that may cause him to have to take to burp the throttle to avoid a penalty, and I believe it did. I believe he got a steward's warning or a marshal's warning from the AI stewards, and that is going to give McToasty a shot to take the lead, and indeed he does. So on lap 27 for the first time today, McToasty has taken the lead. Dale obviously getting a flag from the track marshals for going wide there into the turn 11 and 12 complex. So these two are now right on top of each other. Dale to the inside. Had the inside to 1. McToasty has the inside to 2. Dale has the inside back to 3, and with that it's going to retake the lead. That's how you do it. It's a very difficult section through 1, 2, and 3 there as they get back onto the drag strip. Can McToasty make it? Again, you got to also take in mind that there are penalties here. There is a 1-second penalty for McToasty. Dale does not have one, so that means he not only has to pass him, he's got to maintain a 1-second gap, which is, depending on where you're at on the track here, at the end there, I'd say it's a good 10 to 15 car lengths at least. So that's definitely going to be a factor here towards the end of this one. But let's see if McToasty can gather it up and make a run at him. NZ Jack, meanwhile, you got to give him he's made a Herculean effort Ever since getting put in the wall from the lead, he is running in fourth. He has maintained that fourth place position and trying to get every last point he can get, but he is obviously fighting that car, and Revs Martin is coming on. Fastest car on the track that last lap was Revs Martin with a 1:22.9, and he is up to fifth place, looking for a career best finish from him, and he may be able to get the points leader here towards the end of the race inside of 6 minutes, and he's closing in on him. Gotta wonder what these guys have left, not just under the hood. There could be some degree of engine damage over the course of the race, obviously, depending on how you set the car up, but definitely the tires. McToasty is at do or die time. He has to get past them, has to build that second gap. And I can guarantee you he's trying. We said next week we will be at Road America for both races on the Flux America Tour. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. UK time, it will be the Flux IndyCar Championship right here on the famed 2.5 mile oval of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Looking forward to that one. Come check us out, fluxmotorsport.com, to join. Check out our merchandise, check out our YouTube for all our broadcasts archived for all 4 seasons of Flux Motorsport. We'd love to have you on board for the best in console sim racing. These guys are still going at it. McToasty's hanging in there, but I don't know. He hasn't shown enough muscle on the straightaways to get set up for a pass. This is just a difficult track to make that move at. All right, now Revs Martin getting closer there. We'll keep our eye on that one. Every point valuable in the championship. And not just the championship. I mean, you obviously finish into the top 5, top 10 in the championship's about pride, but the top 3 in the championship are given guaranteed rides for next season. All right, Dale's going to be coming around here through the 11, 12, 13 complex, completing lap 30. So they have done about 75 miles on these tires. And he has been able to maintain. Got Pogo Mojo, one of our drivers who's not in the field tonight. Pogo, of course, American Tour regular, says he's calling it for McToasty. We'll have to see. He has to get by him and build a second gap, remember. These two are right on it now. We're going to have a battle for 4th place, but more importantly, the battle for the win inside of 3 minutes here at the Brickyard. Both of these guys, 1 career win in the series. Dale's was this season in the opening round at Daytona. McToasty's was last season at Watkins Glen. And both of them right up there in the championship. Both in the top 5 as we hit towards mid-season. This is their chance to definitely close the gap to the guys in front of them, move up. Don't want to make a huge mistake here and flush away a whole lot of points. Two minutes would tell me that we have 2 laps to go. They're going to take the white flag next time by. So 2 laps, about 5 miles remaining. This is going to be the last shot. This is going to be Toasty's last shot, I believe. Take a look at what he's seeing in that cockpit. McToasty trying to get every last bit of speed onto that straightaway. Going in deep, shifting down hard. He's got a very smooth car. It's just I don't know if he's got the horsepower, but he's closing in now. It looks like Dale might be having trouble through the technical sections there. That was where Dale got his penalty. Was coming through there and going in the grass, or got his warning from the marshals anyway. Inside of a minute on the clock, so they are going to be taking the white flag this time by. On to the front stretch, one more lap to go at the Brickyard. It's Dale the Whale and McToasty, two Americans in the Flux American Sports Car Championship, going at it in Corvettes. The iconic American sports car. We're going to see what comes out here. And they are coming up on lap traffic, which is diving out of the way. I believe that might have been, it could be O'Brien in front of them. Remember, Dale the Whale lost out coming through traffic last time. Does a good job getting out of the way, though, right there. They're aware that the blue flag is coming, that the leaders are on their way. Not a whole lot of chances from here on out for McToasty to get the pass done. Dale the Whale looking for his second win in the series. He has done quite a bit of winning the last couple seasons. He won 3 races on his way to the championship in the stock cars last season. He won a race in the Indy cars last season. Got to negotiate this final section of turns. And there you have it. Dale the Whale going to pick up his second Flux American Sports Car Championship win of the season here at the famed Brickyard. Get back to the battle on the track there for 4th place. NZ Jack trying to hang on. I don't know if he's got it. Revs Martin diving in with a strong move. Made it clearly. Does he have a shot back at him? No. Revs hangs on. Those two are fighting at it. On the very last lap, Rev's taking an excellent move, and he's going to pull it across the line there in 4th place. He is going to get that pass done at the end on NZ Jack. I'm sure Jack wasn't thrilled with that move, but he did it without making contact as they were racing hard there at the end. But up front, Dale the Whale is your winner. Second win of the season. He, of course, got the win at Daytona. Second career win in the series. And he came out, took the pole, had that spin early on in turn 1, fell back to 6th place, drove back through the field. Another terrific drive for Dale, and that is going to put him right back in the thick of the championship as he brings that car around. Just a lightning quick driver in multiple disciplines, but he's especially good in these high muscle sports cars. So let's give you your final results for the Flux Motorsport 2021 Season 2 American Sports Car Championship Round 4 at Indianapolis. Winning from the pole and posting the fastest lap, he takes a clean point sweep for the weekend, will be Dale the Whale. It's once again a Corvette sweep on the podium. McToasty qualifies at second, brings it home in second in what was just a brilliant battle with Dale the Whale. He will move himself up in the championship, no doubt. Another consistent and excellent finish on the podium for Super Crusher as he takes that car just 13 seconds off the leaders. He did an excellent job all day, brings home that car in third. A big day for Team Perispheric as Revs Martin posts a career best 4th place finish here at Indianapolis. Drove just past NZ Jack on the final section of laps. So Team Perispheric running 3rd and 4th here tonight. NZ Jack, the winner from last week, led a good 10 laps here in this race until the incident I'm sure everyone's going to be talking about with the eventual winner, Dale the Whale. Jack brings it home in 5th place. He did a great hanging on drive. You know, saw that car had damage. He knew if he hit the pits, he would fall back to 8th or 9th. He needed every last point, and he held on to it. I'd say he probably made about 7 or 8 points just by staying out, and brings it home in 5th. Just piddling stayed in the middle of the pack most of the race. He's going to bring that car home in 6th. Chris 94 M Sport ran as high as 4th. Looked like a contender early. He falls back and finishes 7th. Deadly Hawk gets that Porsche up to 8th as Cat Guy has some problems at the end. He will come home in 9th. It's Your Boy Squash will round out the top 10 in the Ford. And we've got Green Gaming a lap down in the Ford, finishing 11th. Ty Joe, the point leader, coming in. He's going to wind up getting just 12th place points. And that is your final results here this week. As I said, we will be back tomorrow night for the IndyCar Championship at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway right here. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 a.m. UK. So for Flux TV, we said check you out. Check us out, fluxmotorsport.com. Merchandise, how to join up. We'd love to see you. And we're going to call it a night. I'm your host for Flux TV. This is Carlin Hicks, signing off.